Okay. So in function, two things were remaining, that is generate function and currying. Okay. So these are very famous question which you might face. So what is function currying and what is generate function? So this we will cover quickly. Now, you might have seen something like this. So they ask you to create something like this. Let's say you have add to num, you will pass one parameter, and after that, again one parameter you will pass. They will tell you like, this is how I'm going to call my function. Now they will ask you to write a function for it, right? If you are new, you might not have seen something like this. If you have faced this intro question, then you might know that this is function currying. Okay. So now what is function currying? So function currying is nothing but a function. We have a function inside and that another one function which is just returning a value. So let's say if we have to create a function which will invoke like this. So what we do, function add to number. So this is our first function. This will have a one parameter, that is num. Let's say num1. Okay. Inside this, we will have one more function, but we are going to return that function. And this function will have second parameter, that is num2. And here we are going to return, let's say num1 plus num2. So see, we have a function. With that, we have one parameter. Inside that function, we are returning one other function. And in that function also, we have second parameter. And what we are returning? Num1 plus num2. So ideally, like what till now, what function we have seen. So what you will do normally, you will store this function into another function. Then you will execute it, because this function we are returning something. So obviously when you call this function, you can store it into some variable and then again you can execute that function. This is what we have known till now. But this function, we can call it like this also. Console.log. Let me just run this page. See, what we passed 1 and 3, and the return what we got 4. Let's try it one more time. Let's say I pass 12 and here also 12. See, got the sum? Let's add a debugger. Here I'm adding a debugger, and inside this inner function also I'm adding a debugger. So see, in num1, what do we got? 1, the first parameter. Continue. Second parameter, you will get it over here, num2. Then again, first parameter, second is also 12, so same. Got it? So this is what called function currying. Okay. It looks very hard, the word, but if you implement it one or two times now, it is absolutely very easy. And again, this we cannot do it in Angular. We don't use this in Angular. It is just to clear your JavaScript part. We don't use this in Angular. Understood? Anyone having any doubt? Clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if
Okay.
we have multiple parameter, right now you show an example with 2. If we have 3 or
Yes.
4.
I also didn't try. Let's try. Let's create one more function. Inside this function, again, let's return one function. Here, let's say we have num3. And here we will return num1 plus num2 plus num3. Fine. And if you have to call, let me just comment this. 4. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it will work. Okay. So I think we can send any number of parameter like that. A function, inside function, it can keep going on.
And the
Clear?
nature of this is always return, right? It's
Yeah,
not a
obviously,
void
now we
type.
have to return because we are directly invoking over here only. We are not storing into another variable, right? Here only we are invoking. So we should get the return value, no? No, means it's not required to return, but like logic can be anything, but simply like the function name is add return. So we are returning something.
Okay.
Okay. Again, just they won't go in very deep, but just be familiar. Like this is what function carrying a function inside a function where we can pass a series of different parameter like this. Real time scenario, I also don't know like why might be there when we actually work on a JavaScript project, might be there. Otherwise, it won't be there. But in Angular, while working in Angular, we don't face such problem. So we don't use it. Not sure like in TypeScript, we can write like this also. Okay. So this is function currying. Clear everyone? Shall I move ahead?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next is generate function. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. And this has some real, what do we say? Real use case also. Okay. No, wait. One example I wanted to showcase about this, the real time I said now. Let's say we want to create a function which will just like how console.log work. Okay. We want to create a function which is like our own console log. We just want to print it something, right? So that also we can create by using this. Okay. Now see what I will do. I will create a function print log. In this function, we will have first type, like what will be your type. In console also, we can print log warning error, right? Just like that, info also there. So we will say type. Okay. Here we will, inside this function, again, we will have another function, return function, and we will have a message over here. Okay. And here actually we will print it console.log. First, like your type. What is the type of message you want to print? Then hyphen, then your message. Okay. So see, we have created a function which has one parameter that is type. Inside that, we have another function which is having a parameter as message. Now, right, the you, Karan, you ask like, do we need to read a do we need to return anything? No, it's not like that. It was just function we take add number, so we have to return some value. Now this function is not returning something. Okay. Now what I can do, I will create constant message, or let's say error is equal to, I will call this function with, or what do we say, type. Okay. So let's say error. So what I did, currently I have just called this function. Okay. And this function we have stored into another variable. Now, this variable I can use, and while using it, I'm passing second parameter, message. See, what we did over here, this function we have stored into one variable. This is the parent function. It has just one parameter, so we passed it. Like, what is the message type? Error. Now, error, I'm going to execute inner function now. So error dot, let's say API error. This is what we got. Let's say after some time again, you need to display some different error. So you will say validation messages something. So now see, we got message type as error, and this is our message. Now, this way, where it might be useful, why, whatever we did, is this useful? Let's say if we talk about Angular or even any technology, is this useful?
Yes.
What will be scenario? Why it will be useful?
When there is a common, like a common place, let's say in an Angular project, we have to create a common service where we listen to the AP
No.
response. If there is any AP response error, we can show those.
Right? So what happens when we use console.log, console.info, right? If you write console.error, so error red color it will come, right? Just like that, you have a function. Let's say you have some generic function. Okay. In that you have two parameter, type and the message. So you created instance of error over here. Just like that, again, what you will do, console, let's say info. What you will do, your print log function again you are calling. Now type is info. Now you have created two variable. error and info. Now, wherever you want to display the error, you will use this error dot and pass the message. And wherever you want to display the info message, you will use this page saved something. See, now this is kind of a reusability. You have declared this variable once. Now, in that you have set your error type, like what is the message type, as either it is an error, info type, warning, whatever. Then you are just reusing this thing. Understood? So this is kind of a practical way you can remember for currying. Okay. Understood this? How we have completed this?
Yes.
Okay. Again, as I said now, whenever you are preparing, every time, let's say you are preparing now, after 2 years, again you have to go through all this, because these are the concepts we don't use in Angular. So again, you have to learn all this, right? Now generate function. So what's the use of generate function? Idea is we have a function. In that function, we have some lines to be executed. And normal behavior of the JavaScript function is like, once we invoke that function, whatever the number of lines we have, that will execute by default. Can we pause on particular line? And again, we can resume that. Can we pause any function execution? I'm not talking about debugger. Programmatically, can we pause any, like 2 lines you will execute, after that you need to pause, and after some time again you will execute? Can we do like that till now, whatever you know?
So set timeout.
No, set timeout, but it will execute after some particular time, na? But you should have a control. That will that is also you can see. But let's say 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So after 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it is going to execute, but you don't have a control on it, right? Whenever you say you want to execute the next number of line, pause and resume kind of thing you can say. Okay. So there comes the generate function, a function which lets you to pause this execution and again resume it also. Okay. So now how do you create it? Print, let's say, what do we can? Something. Let's go with basic, then we will see the practical example. So function print num. Okay. So inside this, what we will have, just normal console.log. Console.log, we will say 111. Then this is your normal function. If you want to convert this function into generate function, you have to add a star over here. Okay. When you have star after the function, that means this is your generate function, generator function. Okay. So this is your first line. Let's say after that, one keyword is there, that is yield one, yield. Then first pause, then console.log 222. Second line, again, let's say we have some alert. Then again, we want to pause it. So yield 2. Again, let's say console.log 3. Okay. So see, this is my generator function. Now, these are nothing but your pause. This is first pause. When you execute this function for the first time, this line will execute. Then it will pause. Again, if you execute this function, then it will execute these 2 lines. Again, it will pause. Again, if you execute the same function, again, it will execute the next line. Okay. Now, so how do you execute it? So let's say constant my function is equal to print num. And this function, we are storing it over here. Now, my function dot. See, it is suggesting something, next return throw. So whenever you have to execute next step, next step, next step, you want to pause and you want to execute. No, so you will use next method like this. Okay. Let's try it. We are printing console now. See, we got 1 only. Means only this line got executed. Again, if we have this line after like this, see, now we have got 1 and 2. This line did not get executed. Got it? So it's like based on the condition. Let's say you have some condition. If this condition falls, you want to execute one more time. If some again condition satisfied, you want to execute one more time, like that. So you are actually pausing the function execution. Getting it? Understood or no? See, if I remove this line, what it will does, it will only execute this first block only. Again, if I have this, it will execute this two block, console and the alert. Again, if I have one more, it will execute the 331. See, it's like we are pausing the function. And again, if we execute, again, it will execute the next line. Clear? Understood or no?
Any real-time example? I'll be using
Real-time example, we can say, we will pass X number and I created that example. Let's say you have to create a function which will give you every time, it will give you unique number. You have to create a function which will give you every time some unique value. Let's say incremental value. Let's say one time you execute, you got one. Next time you will get it, next value, like that. Okay. So like that we will try. But for that, we will initialize with 1. And if while if true, again yield. Forgot that how we do that.
So you were telling about a random number generation.
Yeah, by default we have a function, but I want to wrap it up into inside a function. Random is like every time you will get it something, but let's say you want incremental way. First time you execute, you will get 1. Next time again you execute, you get 2, like that. Understood? Like that I'm saying. Let me check that code. I forgot that. Okay, written that. Just a minute, let me check that. Let's try that. We have to create a function which will increment whenever we execute that, it will increment one value after that. Okay, let's try function star get next val. Okay, now over here we will have, let's say, something num parameter. Here we will say let next num is equal to num. I just created one more variable. If next num is there, or let's say we just want simply condition true, means so that every time if will execute. And here we need yield. Now here we don't want, we want it to be dynamic. Right there. Let's try passing next num. Num one. Let's try console. Now let's say I start with 10. Okay. Dot next. Again, one more thing. This next now will return some particular object. Let's see that. So see, if I execute like this next, you see we got value and like first step done or not. Okay. Again, if we call this, no, it is giving 10 only. Why it is not incrementing plus plus or what? It is giving me. Here we have to do it or what? Let's try. 10, 10 only we are getting. Was there ID? Next now.
Yield is something we need to pass, right?
Something dynamic value it should get it over here in the yield, because it cannot be static, right? Every time, because it's like how many times we can call this function anytime. So every time it should get new value, right? So this is your local variable. It is going to remember that what's the last value, and it should increment that. Like that, I'm thinking. Get one more variable constant. Next num minus next num plus plus. This new well, I will pass it over here. 0, 0 only we are getting. It was next num minus next num plus plus. We are calling this wrong. Let's store it into another variable. Get next is equal to get next of 10. First time we got 0, second time undefined. Okay, let it be. Something was similar like this. I have seen some code, but here the yield value we need to pass it something dynamic. Or simply num plus plus will also work or not. Let's try. Second time we are getting undefined. Undefined. Anyone thinking something? Instead of if, let's try while. Okay, so that was while. We need a loop over there. So see, every time we are calling this function now, we need to see this while loop. Means if we pass true over here, so it will execute multiple time, right? Understood? If you provide while, it's like a for loop, na? Right? Every time it will be like all, because we are providing true over here. So obviously every time, whenever this function will execute, every time you will get true, and next time it will execute. So if you see, every time we are getting 10, 11, 10, 13. So how many time, unlimited time, you can get a unique number. Again, your logic will change over here. You can compare with date also, you can concat day and something, and you will create a unique something. Okay. Just a normal scenario you can remember for this. Because this yield value, we needed it something dynamic. See, the above function, it was a static. So this function, we can call it only 3 times because only 3 yield was there. 3 pauses were there, right? But this, we needed it dynamic, right? How many time I execute like that tag, it should execute. So that's why this while condition was there. Okay. Understood? So this is also enough. But let's say if someone asks you, or for just your practical understanding, like where we actually use that. If it is a JavaScript project or even a React project, in React project, they might use it. Okay. So this is kind of a practical example. Clear? Simply a generator function will allow you to pause the execution and again execute after some time also. Okay. How do we execute? So we store it into variable, and by using next method, we execute that. Clear? Just like in RxJS, right? We use next method to emit some value, just like that, to execute the next number of lines. number of whatever the yield we said, it will execute that particular number of line till the next yield. Okay, clear?
Is there any complete method here?
Is there?
Means when the done would be true here.
See, after return, what's the return? Let's try. Return is a method. And after this again, let's try this. Yeah, so till over here it worked properly. Once you use the return, see if I use the return over here, only 2 times it will execute. After that, undefined. See, so return will stop the execution. Okay. What was else? Throw. What's the purpose of throw now? Throw. Let's try. Okay, it will stop that kind of, it will throw the error. Okay, so we have next return will stop it, and throw it will just break your code at that particular time. Again, like if you have, there might be scenario that's why they might have given it. Let's say over here you write some code, and based on that, if some condition gets false, you need to throw some error. So like that you can do. To stop it, you use the return. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Sir, if it is breaking, then why the remaining remaining function is executed, sir?
No,
With the
remaining it
whatever.
not executing if it is break.
We are
See,
getting the values right, sir. Different.
no. See, if this line get break, next line won't execute, na? Return is, yeah. In return case, it is not remembering the value we have it over here. That's why it is printing undefined. Clear? If you say throw, it will stop the execution over there. In normal JavaScript also, if something break, no, after that, whatever the lines we have, it won't execute, no? Just like that in case of throw. But return is like, it won't remember this, whatever the value you have. See, whenever you are calling this function, at this time, we have the value 11. Once we execute again, it remember this value, right? See, if we remove this, every time it is remembering the value and it is incrementing that 10, 11, 12. But if you use return, so that value, it is emptying. Then it is get just undefined. We are able to call it also. But that value, whatever the logic we have, this variable value, it gets empty again. Again, we have to create one more instance. New next. And then we will pass this. We will say, let's say we want to start from 30. See, clear? Like this. Okay.
Can you paste the score in the chat?
Yeah, I will share it. Understood?
Sir,
In ES6, what was remaining? We covered everything or something was remaining in ES6?
Sir, I have a little question.
Yeah.
Why we are not passing the argument in next dot next, but the function accept? What's the logic behind it?
Next is to again execute the next number of, see, remember this. So this is first step. Second step, to execute the next step, you have to use the next method. It's not like passing the parameter to it. It's just to invoke the next step of line, next, whatever the lines of code you have in the next pause. To execute that, you use the next method. Got it? Next doesn't have that parameter or something. Okay. Next set of lines you want to execute, you will use the next method.
And in the dynamic function, the 166 to 71, how it working then? Which number of which lines of code is getting executed again and again? That 69 again and again?
Where?
Let's say if we are calling from 74, we are calling dot next, right? 74. And in that function 66 to 71, which lines of code gets executed again and again?
Okay, means this only. Next line.
This only.
Yeah, see here also. Just remember this example. When we execute this line, it was executing this line. Again, next, it was executing this two line. Next step. Now here, just yield. We don't have any number of line. The logic is to get just the unique number. So here you can see we are passing the value. So here, once you print it, you get the value object. See, next method, it doesn't execute only the number of lines. It will return something also, value and step done or not. See, value and the done. And here what we are doing, just incrementing this local variable value. So we get that unique value over here. See, if you put the console over here, there also you will get like this. That particular step done or not. Okay.
I will try, sir. I will try with.
Just try it. Again, don't go in deep, because again you go in deep now, again there will be more question. So limit your answer. Okay.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it possible to give the end value also?
Is it possible to give
end value? We are giving the initial value, right? Like 10, 20.
Then you have to write a logic over here. Just like while is true. Let's say what we are doing over here, next num. So if next num is greater than, let's say 3, and here we will say 1. Let's try this. No, something is wrong. Why it is wrong? See, what we said in the condition, up till less than 3 only. So it has printed 1, 2, and after that it stopped execution. See, we got false, false, and here we got true, true. Means value only we got it 2 times. Then next time means you can use as many as time next method, but it won't return something because we added a condition over here. It won't go inside. Got it? But from here you cannot pass the end value. Logic can be anything. So don't consider like generate function we use it just to increment some value. It can be anything logic. Okay. Again, I said like you need, if we work on a proper JavaScript project, then only you get to work on this kind of scenario. We work on normal CRUD application, API call, form designing, method, post, put, update, delete. This is only what we limit ourselves. So when it comes to interview, then only we prepare everything, right? So you need a project also like that. Then only you get so much confidence on this extra things. If your project is very simple, not even simple also, like I have also worked on around e-commerce also, insurance also, but still people don't use this. And there, I also didn't find any scenario also there where we have this kind of method we have to use and this kind of coding we need to write. Never find something like that, because most of the logic gets handled on the API side. What we do, we call the API, we integrate it, somewhat dynamic UI, somewhat dynamic condition validation we do. That's it. Very limited thing we do in Angular also. But you need a project like that where most dependency on the UI side. In my project, validations also get handled from the API side. Our code is like that. From API side only, they can trigger like this field is required or not. So means it was just one time. We created a code which will work like that, that validation and everything will handle from API side. That's it. Right? Understood? So you need a project only like that. Then only we can master like this. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone having any question? Fine. So I think JavaScript almost done now. We started with JS hosting closure on done, prototype done, function done. Class I have explained, right? Class in how do we, right? Class is done. Promise also done. ES6 also done. Object and array. Did we use object method? Object.keys, object.values.
No.
Okay, let's quickly see that. That is also very helpful while working in Angular, also very helpful. Let's say we create an object student is equal to name, Chetan, city, Pune, email. Okay. What's the data type of student?
Object.
What's object? So object has some method. Okay, object has some method. How do we access that method? Let's say I ask you, like, I need the keys. How many keys I have in the student object? I ask you, how many keys I have in my student object? How we do that?
We will find the length of the object.
Length of the object we cannot find. Length of an object, we don't have property length. Like this, you are saying console.log student
No, it's for
dot length.
array. Sorry.
No, it's not there, no, right?
Nahi,
When you
nahi.
use dot, you can only access the keys. I need how many keys are there?
3. So
You are seeing it, but I'm asking you to, let's say if you don't know it, then, right? I'm asking you how many keys we have in our object. How do we find that? Those who are
Object dot
Object
experienced,
dot keys
object
dot
dot
length
keys.
right? Oh,
dot
object
length.
dot. See, if I write object dot, okay,
Hmm.
where it is, keys method,
Keys.
okay,
Mhm.
keys, and here you need to pass the object. See what it needs, object. So this object you will pass it over. Now it will give you the array of whatever the keys you have. See, name, city, email. Got it?
Then we can, on top of this, we can find the length, right?
Why you need the length?
Like
I
if
asked you how
we-
many keys. Yeah, this is an array, no? So you can length, dot length.
Okay, I was thinking of the count of the number
You
of the
can get it.
keys.
You can get it. Because
Then
this
we
will
can say
return you the array of keys, whatever you have.
Mhm.
Okay. Object dot keys. Just like that, console dot log object dot values, and you will pass this object.
We get
values array
values.
only.
Chetan,
Chetan,
yeah.
Pune.
Mhm.
Understood? Just like that, console dot log object dot entries. It will give you pair of data. See, it has given you array of data, name, key, value, key, value, key, value. Got it? So object dot keys, it will get you the all the keys array, value will get you all the value array, and entries we will get you an array of name and key value pair, like that. Got it? Understood
Yes,
or no?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's say I told you, like, this object I have created, its value should not be changed. Its value should not be changed. How we do that?
Const.
Freeze.
Hmm?
Object dot freeze.
Object dot freeze. Okay. Object dot freeze, and I can pass my object name. Okay. Student over here. Now, if I use student dot, let's say city is equal to Nagpur. Again, I will print my object console dot log student. See, it is still printing Pune only. Understood? Clear or no? So we freeze the object. No changes will be allowed over here once we use this line. Okay. Clear?
Yeah.
Let's try student dot state image. So it is not allowing to add new property also. Okay. So freeze will completely freeze it. It won't allow adding new property. It won't allow existing. It won't allow to change existing property also. Even one more thing. How do you delete a particular property from an object? Let's say I want to delete this city. How do you delete the particular key from this object?
Object dot delete.
Delete dot student dot delete space
Delete,
student dot
directly
name.
delete.
Okay.
Okay. Then student dot what property you want to delete? City. Okay. Currently it won't delete because we have freezed it. Okay. Now, let's say someone asks you like, yeah, with freeze we can do, it's completely blocked. We cannot do anything with it. We cannot add new property. We cannot change existing. We cannot delete also. But let's say just like this freeze, now one more method is there, that is seal. Okay, now I'm commenting this. Okay, and just like object dot freeze, we have object dot seal, and here we will pass this object. So now see, we are changing the existing key value. We are trying to add a new value, and we are trying to delete a value. All three operations are over here. Let's save. What it has done, city it has changed, but this line means it has not added new property, and it has not deleted the city also. So what's the difference between freeze and seal?
We can modify the existing object, but we cannot.
Right.
We
So
can
we
just
can just
update,
modify the existing key value pair data, but we cannot add a new property also, and we cannot delete the existing property also. That's the difference between seal and the freeze. Clear?
Do we use this property in regular coding? Seal and freeze?
Not use, but object keys and values we use.
Yeah, keys and value and entries I have seen, but not in the freeze and seal.
Freeze just limited to, again, like as I said, now if we are working on a proper project where all this concept we can use now, obviously we can use it. But again, it needs a proper project also like that. And your project also should follow all those things. Then only you get to work like that. Okay. One more thing is there prevent extension or something. So clear about freeze and seal?
Yes.
Prevent extension, what was that? That's object dot prevent. Nothing coming. Sorry, prevent extension. And here we'll pass the object. So we are changing the existing value. We are adding new value, and we are trying to delete it also. Okay, let's see what happens. So name it is there, email it is there. What it has done? Name is there, email is there. Okay, city deleted, and state it didn't added. So prevent extension. Let me comment this. Okay, so prevent extension, it will allow you to add. Okay, again, it is not a prevent extension. What is the name?
Just updating and deleting the existing.
Update it has done, and delete also it has done. Okay, so it won't only prevent extension, like existing value you can change. See, if I'm changing city to Nagpur, see, Nagpur got changed. When existing value you can change, but you cannot extend it. Prevent extension. Whatever the object you have, it will be like that only. You can change the existing value, but you cannot add new property also, and you cannot delete the new property. No, delete is possible. You cannot extend it, means new property you cannot add. See, update is allowed. Delete is also allowed. Just new property you cannot add. You cannot extend it. Extension. You cannot create new things into it. Okay. Understood? So freeze will completely.
Difference between them.
See, so freeze, what it does, it won't let you do anything into it. Okay, completely freeze. Seal. Again, we forgot. What was that seal was doing?
It was updating the existing values.
Update, and it was allowing to add the new value also, no?
No.
Let's try. Okay, new value it is not allowing, but it was allowing us to update. Okay. And delete also not possible in case of seal. So seal, freeze, completely freeze. Seal, what it does, it will allow you to update the existing value, but it is not allowing you to delete also. See, the delete city is there, but city is still present. So it won't allow you to delete also. And prevent extension, it won't, it allows you to update the new value, but it won't. But in seal, then what's the difference between seal and extension? Same thing it is doing, na?
Seal is also allowing to delete the object value.
No, it's not deleting. See, we have delete dots.
Prevent extension is allowing to delete.
Okay, prevent extension is allowing to delete. Let's
Yes.
try. Ah,
See,
okay.
then it's just only preventing with the extension, like adding new values, key values there.
Okay. So new value it is not allowing, but existing value you can update and existing value you can delete in extension. Just prevent extension means new value you cannot add. With existing you can add and remove also. Okay. With seal you cannot delete also existing. Clear? These are the object method. See this object keys and value, this we use it so many times. Let me show you a real time example. You might have seen this also multiple times. Let's open Amazon. Let's open this particular product. See, here you can see it's since it's a mobile, you have brand, operating system, RAM. So this is nothing but your object. But when you want to print this object, you want to print the name of the key also. Because this is a mobile, you are getting key name as brand. And if it's a cloth, you will get something else. So first you get the array of key, you print it over here, and respective value, you will print it over here. Understood? Where we actually use that object dot keys and values. Got it or not? Let's say you got an object like
Yes.
that, brand, this. So first what you will do, because you need to print the keys, na? And then the values over here. So first you will get the keys name by using object dot keys. Then here you will get your object square bracket and the key name. You know that square bracket, and you can pass the variable value to access a dynamic property from an object. Are you able to relate? How do we access object? Either by dot or by square bracket, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is that scenario. So that's what I said. It gets used multiple times, and so many machine tests are also there, which has built upon just object dot keys and values. Okay.
But
Clear?
sir, in case those value from the backend, it will be without space, not this guy, right?
No, we can have a space na in object key. We can have a space na in object key. Can we have a space in key name or no? Can we have a space over here?
Yes,
Let's
yes,
see.
we use double quote, I think.
Right? If you write like this, obviously you cannot have a space. But if you wrap this up in a single quote, then you can have. Okay. Karan? Understood?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
This is possible. Okay. But now following this, you cannot say like in variable also we can do that. We cannot do that because this can be dynamic, but variable name cannot be dynamic. Huh? In object only we can do this. You can have a space over here, but you need to wrap it up with this. Okay. In Angular, we use that ng style, right? In ng style, we pass array and then background color. If background color is there, we wrap it up in a single quote. And color is there, directly we write the color. That's the same thing. Okay. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So currying, generator function, and object method. 3 things we have completed. Else was remaining in JavaScript.
Sir, memoization is remaining.
Memoization in JavaScript. That hash key value we need to store. That you are saying?
No, caching.
Yeah, so we create that hash value, na? Key value pair data, hash map something.
Yes.
In Angular, when we use share replay there, I have used. Okay, I will check like how do we do that in Java. But no one, I didn't face that interview question yet. Memoization in JavaScript. You have faced that question?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Let me check. What is it? So Just to wrap the JavaScript, there are some program which everyone will ask you, like reverse a string, check a string is palindrome or not, that factorial, Fibonacci series, then count the duplicate in our array, remove duplicate. Some programs I have that we will see tomorrow. Okay. And
Yes.
everyone, whatever 6 to 7 programs are there, get last or get max array from an element or get last second element. Almost 7 to 8 programs are there. Every time guaranteed, you will get one of that. Guaranteed. Most of the time, Fibonacci series, everyone will ask. Sometimes swap number also, they will ask you, how do we swap the variable value? So 7 to 8 programs are there that we will see tomorrow. Okay. Fine.
Yes.
Anyone having any question?
No.
Okay. Chalo, let's connect tomorrow.